All right, and good evening. We welcome you to Beef O Brady's here in Starke.
Yeah, and Starke.
Sorry, live here. We are underway here for week 3 of the high school football gridiron report. With Corey Davis, I'm Marty Pallman. We're at Beef O Brady's in Starke, and looking forward to bringing you the third edition of this show here tonight. We'll be here with you until 9 o'clock. And 9 to 10 tonight, we'll have our college football report. A lot to talk about there, but also a lot to talk about on the high school level. And Corey, we got through week 2 of the season. Really not a lot of weather issues this week, it seemed like. We probably the first week, last week without rain.
Knock on wood, we hopefully have no weather issues on this Friday night. But it's hard to believe we're already a third into the season.
Yeah, I know. And this season always goes fast. I mean, it's funny because think about it. Most of the high school football season really kind of takes place in August and September. You get through October, and that's pretty much it, the last week of October for the regular season. So, yeah, you're right. We're already at week 3 out of 11. And, again, no further weather this week. We're going to have another this week. We're going to have a lot of big games this week coming up this week. Tonight, we're going to have a special guest, our first guest on the show.
Yeah, Eric Gibson from Interlochen High School. Used to play at Middleburg High School in Valdosta State. And grew up in Arkansas, so he's a Razorback fan.
Yeah, and they got a win last week in their opener. So
who did they play? They didn't really play nobody either.
Kind of like a lot of the SEC teams, like Florida played.
Alabama A&M's who they played.
Yeah, it was except for LSU and Alabama. It was kind of like that kind of week for SEC and Texas, I guess, for SEC teams. But that's for our next hour from 9 to 10. Right. But we start this week, as always, talking about the looking back last week at the week in high school football. And we'll start in Ocala this week. We'll head down to Gainesville and Jacksonville after that. But in Ocala last week, North Marion gets their first win of the season. They beat 5A 42-33. For Bellevue, they have now lost 23 in a row. And it's Fort White knocked them off 26-15.
I can't imagine playing for a team that lost 23 in a row. You know, and we have 3 teams that have these long losing streaks. Also, Sandalwood, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and also Bronson. You know, I played for a team that won 12 in a row. I can't imagine playing for a team that lost 23 in a row.
Not only did that team win 12 in a row, I think they won 23 out of 24 those 2 years, right? Or 21 out of 22, 9-1, and 12-0. So, but yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough to go through that. I know, and Bellevue through the years has struggled a little bit, but they've had some good seasons, but yeah, it's been a tough run for them right now. As they lost last week to the Fort White Indians. Speaking of Bradford, we're here at Starke tonight, right across the street from Bradford High School. This school scored surprised me a little bit, really. Bradford went down to Denellen and won 35-0. They've had 2 straight shutouts in their first 2 games against Baker County and Denellen.
Well, we'll find out if they're for real this week when they play South Sumter. Yeah.
And then next week when they play Mandarin. Next 2 weeks we'll say a lot. Usually Denellen.
Not to say that they're not for real, but they get their first test this week.
Yeah, and that'll be at Sumter too. So that game will be tough to go down there as it usually is.
Right, I think the one game that stands out in this region that definitely surprised you and me both was Vanguard going to Lake Mineola, which traditionally has been a playoff team, but they've been kind of down the last couple of years. 76-0 Vanguard.
Yeah. Well, again, with a running clock, it's hard to believe sometimes you can score 76 points. But I think Vanguard took out some frustrations from the Buchholz game the week before, maybe on Lake Mineola. But yeah, that score, and that was at Lake Mineola too. It was on the road, so it wasn't like it was 76-0. I saw that score too. I was a little surprised.
And remember, they played on a wet field when they played Buchholz on a Thursday night. It didn't start till 9 o'clock. It didn't end till almost midnight. Imagine if that was a normal dry field.
Right, I know, and as you said, and Vanguard, again, Coach Farmer looking to kind of get back on the winning track, and they did, no problem there for Vanguard, as they're now 1-1. This week, they travel to Newberry, who's having their own struggles. We'll talk about them a little bit in a moment. Meanwhile, in Ocala, this game was not completed. It got to halftime. Trinity Catholic went to Melbourne Central Catholic, and Melbourne Central Catholic was up 21-14 near half. And at that point, the game was delayed with weather, and
it was called because of lightning, and they decided to as a no contest.
So Trinity Catholic's record officially stays at 1-0, and they'll have the John Brantley Bowl this week. Forest had a bye week last week after their opening win over North Marion, and already in Game 2 at Forest, which Brantley goes back against his old school, Trinity Catholic, this Friday.
How
So
cool would it be when you get to go back to one of your old schools?
where you won 2 state titles too. But they had a lot of success at Trinity Catholic. Did Coach Brantley now back at his alma mater? So that'll be this Friday night for us at Trinity Catholic. Crystal River or Westport 21-14. Lake Weird 2-0 as they easily defeat Citrus 32-6. Good start for them this year. The Hurricanes, and then Ocala Christian all over their rival St. John Lutheran there in Ocala 52-14.
We talked about St. John's Lutheran last week, and they ended up killing somebody last week. So this is kind of surprising when I saw the score because I thought St. John's Lutheran was a lot better than this, but obviously not.
They have had some good years, but it's been a little while for them at this point. So that is our look at the Ocala area. And we will have our picks, some of those games later on, coming on in the show tonight. Again, we'll go to 9 o'clock tonight here on our North Florida High School football talk, the Gridiron Report, live from Beef O Brady's at Starke. Let's take a look at Gainesville now, and here's a game we didn't think Eastside was going to have much chance here. They got down 19-0. They rallied, beat Rickards 28-25 last Thursday. So the Rams are now 2-0, and now they get a chance to end a long losing streak against Beeholtz this Friday.
Well, Rickards had the same thing happen to them that they did to Godby the week before. Godby had them by 21 points the week before. They came back to win the game. Eastside comes from behind and pulls the stunner. Great job by Eastside there.
Yeah, it was. So, again, they go to 2-0, rallying from down 19-0 to win that game at Citizens Field, and they will take on Beeholtz this Friday at Citizens Field. Speaking of Beeholtz, Friday night at Citizens Field, we talked about this game, thought it would be a really good one. Vero Beach, who's number 2 in 7A, coming in to play Beeholtz number 2 team at 6A, and it was. It was a great game. Beeholtz got behind 21-7. They came back to take a 24-21 lead, about a minute and a half to go. And Vero Beach right down the field in a minute, scored a touchdown to win 28-24 against Beeholtz.
Yeah, and the week before, Beeholtz plays Vanguard, so they're opening up with 2 really good teams, which will get them ready for the playoffs too. So, but tough loss for Beeholtz because they gave up the lead with only like a minute left in the game, and that's a game that you think you have in the bag, and then your defense lets you down.
Yeah, and for Beeholtz, so at least the good news is they got a little bit of a better game out of Andrew Whittemore. He struggled a bit against Vanguard, but so Beeholtz, a rare loss for them at Citizens Field. They'll get a chance to beat their rival Eastside this Friday, but as we expected, it would be a tough game. Vero Beach comes in. Vero Beach, with their quarterback is an FSU commit, wide receiver is a Kentucky commit. They hooked up there at the end. Lots of D1 talent on that Vero Beach team. Well, GHS, who had to go away to Naples week 1, defeated Aubrey Rogers. Had to go to Central Florida to play Davenport, and they went down to defeat 42-21. They're out 1-1.
What a weird schedule for them. I mean, to open up with Aubrey Ridges and Naples and then playing Davenport makes you think, what's the rest of the schedule look like?
Oh, they're Crystal River this week. Now, like I told you, they have 5 straight road games and then 5 straight home games. So their schedule is very odd. And their first home game, like I said, is Beeholtz. Technically, of course, as a home team.
Right.
But so yeah, they go to 1-1, and they will be on the road again this week at Crystal River. Oak Hall, they go to 2-0. They win in at Bishop Snyder 35-19 and SSA matchup there. Crescent City, a game you saw, they easily defeated PK Young 31-7.
Yeah, PK Young scored with 27 seconds left in the game on a jet sweep halfback pass. PK Young had first and goal. Crescent City stopped him 3 consecutive plays, and on 4th down, they threw the jet sweep pass, and the guy was wide open. Otherwise, they pitched a shutout in that game. PK Young, low numbers like always. They're struggling right now, and Crescent City just did enough to win the game.
And they are now 2-0, right?
Crescent City's 1-1.
1-1, sorry.
They lost to Deltona.
That's Deltona. Right,
yeah.
That's right. So they're 1-1. Speaking of 1-1, Union County evens their record up. Tough loss to Ely week 1. No problem with Keystone 51-6. Keystone off to an 0-2 start. Neither game was close. So kind of a tough start for them. Here's a game you and I different on our picks, but Coffee County coming out from Georgia to Columbia to the Lake City to play Columbia. Columbia wins at 20-14 to go to 2-0.
Well, traditionally, Coffee County is one of the best teams in Georgia, especially South Georgia. And I just felt like they were probably the better team. They were coming up a tough loss to Weir County in a rivalry game. And, Coffee County traditionally goes deep in the playoffs. And I thought, they're going to beat Columbia. Well, I was wrong.
Yeah, we'll see. Columbia may be pretty good. I mean, they beat Suwannee week 1. They're now 2-0 in the young season as well after that win over Coffee County at home. Speaking of another team is 2-0, our friend Bryant Fry at Trenton. They beat Bell week 1, 48-0 over Dixie County. They're 2-0 now under Coach Fry. Bell falls to 0-2 as they lose at home to Franklin County 35-14. Baker County evens their record at 1-1. They lost week 1 to Bradford. They go to Chiefland and win 14-0. They pitch a shutout. Guess who? Well, Coach Andrew Thomas's defense there now at Baker County.
Probably had something to do with that.
Yeah, just a little bit as they shut out Chiefland 14-0. Brantford, they get a win over Weewa 33-7. And another game we talked about last week. This game did not turn out to be nearly as close as we thought it would be. But Hawthorne pulls away to beat Newberry 32-7. Hawthorne 2-0. Newberry falls to 0-2.
Yeah, I think we all expected that to be a much closer game. But obviously Newberry lost a lot of talent last year. And, they returned a handful of guys on defense. And they do return their tailback and receiver, but brand new quarterback they're breaking in. And it doesn't get any easier because they get Vanguard this week.
Vanguard, who we just saw put 76 points on Lake Mineola. So, but and Newberry in the end of that game actually went to a backup quarterback. So they've been struggling offensively. Of course, they also played University Christian and Hawthorne the first 2 weeks. Santa Fe, their debut under Ernest Graham. I looked up at one point in the second quarter. This game was 17-14. Well, it ended up 54-14. So Santa Fe goes to 1-0, beating Seraphath Academy out of Jacksonville. So Santa Fe, they will see what they're playing this week. Suwannee, they fall to 0-2. Lafayette goes to 2-0.
They're playing Harvest Community. That's who they're playing.
So they'll probably get another win this week. Strange schedule there for Santa Fe.
Well, they dummy down their schedule to get wins.
Yeah, they'll have Newberry coming up, but so Lafayette Suwannee, what a game this turned out to be. 37-30. Lafayette gets the
and trust me, I worked in that area. I've covered them, Lafayette, Suwannee,
rivalry there, right?
Brantford. The people in Suwannee are not happy. They're already talking about firing the coach. You don't lose to Lafayette in any sport, especially football.
Ooh, I didn't think about that. Especially football, huh?
Especially, I think that might be the first ever win from Lafayette over Suwannee.
I mean, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I think in football, you're probably right. That's a little bit of a surprise, but I think in other sports you might see that as well. But so yeah, Lafayette gets the win. Suwannee 0-2. Bronson. Well, we mentioned Bellevue, 23 straight losses, 16 straight for Bronson, and they are blanked by Stanton, 30-0.
Here's what I find interesting. Our guest coming up is Eric Gibson, coach at Interlochen, and they had played Bronson last year, and Bronson said, "We're not going to play this year. We're trying to, play an easier schedule." And they probably thought they were going to beat Stanton. And Stanton picks them behind the woodshed and beats them 30-0 to continue this long losing streak. So it's like you're trying to win a game, and you schedule someone you still can't beat.
Right. That's true. I don't know how. And you're right. You think Stanton would be a team you could beat, but did not happen for Bronson this past Friday night. So they have lost 16 in a row. And then the last game on there, we don't have to talk about. Which is over here.
Yeah, we're getting ready to talk to Coach Gibson about this game.
Brooksville Central and Interlochen, yeah.
Yeah, Brooksville Central beat Interlochen 27-6 Friday night.
It was a 6-6 game in the
6-6 game going in the fourth quarter, and then the Rams kind of fell apart.
Long trip down there to Brooksville for that game. So
Brooksville went to Interlochen last year, and Interlochen beat them. I think it was like 42-6. It was never a close game. This was the opposite. This was a close game, and then became they ended up winning 21 in a row to close out the game.
So the Rams 1-1 now. As we take a look at is the Gainesville area there. And at this point, we want to.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's bring Coach on and let him talk to Corey.
Speaking of the Rams, let's bring on Coach Gibson here from Interlochen. As we talked about their tough loss to Central on Friday night. Coach Gibson, come on over.
Oh. Welcome to our setup here.
Welcome aboard, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
All right, Coach. We talked about it. 6-6 going the fourth quarter. What happened?
We just kind of fell apart. Got a little tired. Defense was playing their butts off the whole game. They had been on the field a lot. After looking at the film, we had a lot of missed tackles. 21, I think, to be exact, total in the game. And then offensively, we just couldn't do anything. Obviously, we had some suspensions in the first quarter. Nobody knew about. Kind of started off sluggish, and then just never picked up. Third quarter, right after halftime, we came down and scored right away. And I thought that would be some momentum we had, and it was 6-6. We missed an extra point. And then we go to kick it, and defense holds them. Then they come back in the third or fourth quarter and score a touchdown. They kick an onside kick to us. Scores 12-6 at that point, or 13-6, I can't remember. And then they kick an onside kick. One of our front guys tipped the ball, and they recovered it. So it just went downhill from there, it seemed like.
Coach, the thing I couldn't believe is Phelps only had 3 yards.
Yeah, they were
coming off a game where he had 230 the week before.
Yeah, they were keen on him pretty well, so we tried to use him a lot, move him around, make him, make 2 guys cover him. And for the most part, if you go to watch the film on the offensive plays, anytime he was in motion or anytime we lined up a receiver, he had some opportunities, one-on-one opportunities, and we just didn't complete the passes or look for it. And, obviously, I think he could have had more yards receiving if we could have gave him a chance to catch the ball. But when we ran the ball with him, they were bringing 2 guys on him, covering him, 2 guys. So he was double covered a lot of times. And when we ran with him or motioned with him, they watched film. They knew we were going to try to get the ball to 6. So we were trying to make other players, stand up or make up for it, but just didn't work out for us that night.
Well, switching gears, Coach, you got a big rivalry game this Friday night at home against Crescent City. I wanted to ask you, you guys beat Keystone the week before. It was another big rivalry game. To the coaches and the players, which rivalry means more?
That's a hard one. I think, for the players, I think anytime you can beat your crosstown rival and Putnam County rival, it's a big deal for the coaches and I think the players. But also the Keystone game is a big rivalry because I think there's only 17, 18 miles. A lot of those kids played Melrose baseball with them, grew up with them, next to them. So it's hard. Those 2 are always going to be big rivalry games for both the coaches and the players. And, now Bell's one of our big rivals now. Since joining the SSAA, we've always had some pretty tough games with them. Their fans hate ours and our fans hate them. So it's kind of that good old-fashioned hate.
Well, one thing I do know is, was it the last 3 meetings have come down to like the final minute of the game? I mean, that this game is probably going to come down to the final couple minutes.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, every year I think it's going to come down to one of those final plays. And, we got a saying with the Crescent City game is, Crescent City does Crescent City things. And every year it's something. It's one player or the next. And they're always going to be close games because I think we're compatible as far as how we're similar in size and similar in athletes that we can get. We're not – us 2 are probably the outliers in Putnam County. Palatka gets all the athletes and, they can run 95, 100 guys on their varsity roster. And, we're sitting here at 25 to 32 probably for both Crescent City and Interlochen. So,
Coach, what are the keys to victory Friday night?
I mean, defensively, we just have to make sure we tackle. They have some athletic guys on offense. Our quarterback's really good. He's a mobile quarterback. They like to get him outside the pocket. They got some pretty decent running backs. They got a big, tall tight end. They like to throw on the, swings and drag routes and, stuff like that. So, focus, I think, last week we lacked a lot of focus. Driving down there is 2.5-hour ride. The kids are getting there. We're on a bus, so it's no excuses. But, I mean, our kids, I think this week we got to focus more and we got to be ready to play, Ram football like we did week 1.
3 weeks ago, you played Christchurch.
Mm-hmm.
You were leading the game 7-6 late in the third quarter when lightning struck again. What's the status of that game?
So, actually, I just talked to Coach Sermon today. We're going to resume the game the 15th. At 6 p.m. We're going to pick up where we left off. I think there's 3:42 or 2:43 left in the third quarter, and get to the fourth quarter and try to finish this game for both teams.
What was the day of that game?
The 15th. It's going to be Monday, the 15th.
As in 12 days from now.
As in 12 days from now.
All right. Last, Coach Lee, you've been in the Atlantic League. It's been very successful for you, especially the first year when you guys ran the table and won the championship. Every year it's grown. It's gone from 4 to 8 to, I think, 11 to 16. Now you're at 21. We know you're going to go to 24 eventually. There's been some teams interested. If you're a small school, why should a team join your league?
I mean, I think the biggest thing, if you're a small school, at least joining for us, we have an opinion on what goes on. They're really good about reaching out to coaches when new teams want to come into the Atlantic Division. And we feel like we have a say-so. So it kind of gives us small schools a say-so on, what teams get in, what teams don't get in. So that's the biggest thing. I think, for us, our programs and the teams that are in the SSA, the public school division, I think it just gives us more of a say on what, how we build this conference and how we compete. And, now they're starting to do a great thing with state championships. We're playing, at big places too. So it's not holding back. And it just gives teams opportunities at the end of the season, when a lot of teams wouldn't have opportunities at the end of the season. So that's the big thing for us, I think. And any team that's a small school team looking to, be able to compete every week and not have 3 or 4 games on your schedule you just dread playing because they're in your district. And for whatever reason, either the teams are bigger than you or they recruit better than you or, stuff like that. So,
Coach, I think a perfect example of that is last year. You guys were struggling. You lose a 21-7 game type to Bell on the road. And then you beat Stanton, you get a rematch with Bell. Not every year do you get a chance to redeem yourself against a team you lost to. Right. You guys got that opportunity because there was a consolation playoffs. And, just the mentality of even though we're having a bad season, you still got something to play for.
Right. And I think that's big for the kids because, a lot of kids get discouraged, especially when you're not working with big numbers. I think, if you have 32 kids on your roster that have been with you all season, and then at the end of the year, you go 3 or 4 games where you're looking like, I don't know if we're going to finish the season because these last 3 games we're losing kids over and over again. At least, with us, with the smaller schools and the smaller numbers, we have that opportunity to give our kids more chances to play at the end of the season.
All right, before I let you go, Coach, I got to ask you about Arkansas. Did you get a chance to watch them Saturday?
Yeah, I recorded it and watched it later. So,
what are your thoughts? I know it's against Alabama A&M, but what do you think?
I think offensively they're going to be dynamic as long as they can stay healthy. I think they'll be good. Defense is flying around. I like Petrino as an offensive coordinator, so we'll see how they do in Little Rock this week against Arkansas State. Big time interstate rival. They haven't played that thing in forever, so.
Actually, I heard they haven't played at all. I heard
it's been like 86 years. I think is when.
Wow. Might as well be.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Coach Eric Gibson. Thank you for joining us this week, and good luck Friday against Crescent City and the rest of the year.
Hey, I appreciate you guys having me, and I just want to give a shout out to our little 12U running back, Sam Walker. He injured his leg last night, but he had surgery on it. So, we're praying for you, buddy, and we hope everything turns out good. We know it will.
All right. Thanks a lot, Coach Gibson.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Marty Pallman.
Yeah, did a pitching change there. Back to the righty. Come to the bullpen. Soon we're going to get commercials. We can just kind of have it where, you come back and he's on the air with you, but we'll try to do this. We're going to try to do this a lot of weeks, maybe get coaches, maybe start to get some media folks on and even on the phone, record it. But, yeah, we appreciate Coach Gibson coming down here to Beef O Brady's and Starke to join us live tonight. And good luck. Big rivalry game this week against Crescent City.
Yeah, like I said, it's a rivalry that they played. This is the 37th meeting. Crescent City lead 26-9 or 27-9. Crescent City dominated. I think they won like 11 the last 13, 11 the last 12, something like that.
Well, there was a period there, the 90s, when Crescent City was I mean, was that Pooh Bear Williams in that era?
That was like when we were in high school. Yeah,
did they win state or they got pretty
no,
far?
They never really went far in the playoffs
because
they couldn't get past the second round. I don't think Crescent City's ever been past the second round.
Oh, okay. Thinking Black in the early '80s, of course, won.
Remember some of the years they had to go through Fort Meade and Pahokee.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, no, that would be that would be a problem. You're right. Speaking of Pahokee, did you notice? I'm going to the college level again, but Ole Miss starters Austin Simmons now, who's from. He took over for Jackson Brewer there. Yeah, so I'm playing them that. Anyway, that's something we'll talk about. I always think about college football a little bit. You talked Arkansas football there, but we'll get.
Why to get that in for him?
All right, so let's move on to Jacksonville. We were talking Gainesville, Ocala already. You're watching the North Florida High School Football Talk, the Gridiron Report. Marty Pallman, along with Corey Davis, live here at Beef O Brady's in Starke, bringing you our third episode here. Again, coming up at 9 o'clock, we'll have our college report. But continuing the high school report here, we go to Nassau County and West Nassau, 2-0 now, as they have no problem in Ridgeview, 48-0.
Yeah, this team's getting better each week. They were really good last year, too. And week 1, they beat Paxton. The year before they played Paxton, it came down to a goal line stand. They slaughtered Paxton this year. And West Nassau, we'll find out really how good they are when they play Lake Claire this week.
Yeah, as you said, both teams are 2-0 coming into that game. Speaking of 2-0, Yulia beat Union County week 1. No problem with Clay, and Clay's really struggling. 43-7, Yulia gets the win to go to 2-0 in that game. Also, Hilliard, they win over Harvest Community of Jacksonville 48-6. And Fernandina Beach rolls to another win, 42-13 over Wolfson.
How about Nassau County? Between West Nassau, Yulia, and Fernandina, they're combined 6-0.
Yeah, that's something too. Combined 6-0 between those three, all in Nassau County. So good start for all those teams there. All right, we move on to Clay County. This is not a score we probably like to see very much.
No, we don't even need to talk about this game. We'll just skip this game right ahead.
we talked. Oh, sorry. Oops. I can't have things open here. Oak Leaf and Orange Park, and we were talking last week how this game had never been close, and it wasn't again.
It's been one-sided forever, and it continues as Oak Leaf rolls 56-7.
Yeah, Oak Leaf 2-0 now, and they will get 2-0 Fleming Island this Friday night. Fleming Island feeding Riverside 42-33. A shootout there between those two. But the Golden Eagles of Fleming Island are 2-0 under Coach Tom McPherson. And now you'll get a really intense Clay County rivalry this Friday night between Fleming Island and Oak Leaf.
Yeah, looking forward to that game to see who's Clay County, the best team in Clay County might be.
Yeah.
How about the Broncos? The Broncos get a big win over North Florida Education.
NFEI, North Florida Education.
The Broncos traditionally play those tough teams every year.
Wins or wins, you're 2-0. Hey, And don't forget, Middlebury's been in the playoffs the last 2 years, so we can't sleep.
Yeah, playing Hollis Christian and the deaf and the blind. That's typically.
I'm trying to be nice here. I'm an Orange Park grad who's trying to be nice. Corey is not towards our.
Well, they win the district games. I'll give them that, but they're non-district schedule. You won't see them playing Oak Leaf.
Yeah,
they never play Oak Leaf.
Maybe they have a hard time finding opponents too. And
I don't think they even play Fleming anymore.
That's right. They haven't played. I don't think. Did they play Oak Leaf?
For a while, nobody played Fleming because Fleming was stealing their players and was a bunch of bullies. And so every team in Clay County. Oh, yeah. That's basically what they said. We are not playing Fleming Island. So nobody in the county played Fleming Island for a couple years. Even Clay didn't play.
I didn't realize that. That'll be another one of our picks coming up, Fleming Island and Oak Leaf. St. Johns County. Ponte Vedra, who lost to Nice week 1. Boy, they come back with a 48-14 win over Bartram Trail, who falls to 0-2. I was surprised by this score, as Bartram had to go all the way down towards Tampa in week 1 and lost to Sumner. This time, this game was close for a while, and then Ponte Vedra just pulled away in the second half. Yeah,
we talked about one of the reasons why Bartram's not that great this year is because their starting quarterback, Weatherly, he decided to transfer to Bowles, and he's a starting quarterback at Bowles now.
Another team that is not having any problems is Nice. They roll 50-8 over Creekside. It falls to 0-2. Nice now 2-0. And again, they've beaten already 2 St. Johns County rivals in Ponte Vedra and Creekside the first 2 weeks. having no problem there as well. They get Lincoln this week coming in from Tallahassee at home. That's going to be a big matchup. Look forward to that game as well. Well, again, this continues to not be a rivalry. St. Augustine, I think, for the 22nd time in 23 meetings, beat Menendez. And not only beat them, they beat them 48-6. So the Yellow Jackets are 2-0. By the way, they'll be at Bowls this week. That'll be a game we'll spend some time on. But no problem with their St. Augustine rival, Menendez.
Yeah, they continue to dominate that. And it's crazy because I hear a lot of flack from people in Palaca. Oh, we should play St. Augustine. I don't think Menendez is complaining. They've only won one time and 23 times.
I agree.
I guarantee you they play each other next year.
Yeah, they probably will continue to do that. Menendez wants to play them. I guess they will. But you're right. That has not exactly been something that's gone well for them as well. Sequoia Creek, they're 2-0. No problem with the West Side, 52-6. That'll be the team I see Friday night at Bishop Kenny. The Sequoia Creek Toros, I love that name, go to 2-0. And then St. Joseph Academy wins 37-20 against Geneva. All right, on to Duval County. Before we look ahead to this week, Ribault, their first game at home, and they led for a while, but Jackson comes back to beat them 14-12, and Jackson goes to 2-0. But Ribault opens up their new school and their new stadium last Friday.
Yeah, I've seen clips of the new stadium and the new school, and they got the field turf, AstroTurf, brand new stadium, brand new school, brand new gym, everything, and pretty close game for first time on campus.
I didn't. Apparently, what I understand, every Duval County school will be getting field turf.
Over.
Parker,
it's like four or five schools every year get brand new fields.
I know that I've been to Terry Parker; they have it. She said Ribault has it.
Paxton, Inglewood,
Lee have Riverside. Riverside, formerly Lee.
So. But the two that needed it the most were definitely Ribault and Lee. They had the two worst fields because they were sand pit.
Yeah, Lee was a sand pit, or Riverside. You're right. We did a playoff game there when they played Columbia once, and it was like just playing in dirt the whole game. But another big game. Bowles goes to 2-0. Trinity Christian now 0-2 after a loss to Ed White week 1. No problem for Bowles as they win 35-12 to go to 2-0 with St. Augustine coming in this week.
We talk about how Bowles might be the best team in the area, and they might be. But how Trinity used to be one of the top teams in the area, and now, for them to lose by almost 4 touchdowns, it's pretty insane, because that rivalry used to be a lot closer. Trinity actually beat Bowles a couple times, too. So,
yeah, they have in the past. Okay.
I guess recruiting is down, I guess.
Look at some, just put some banners there behind this.
Squirrel. Focus.
We can see it. We might be able to see. Well, no, can't quite see it behind you. Yeah, there you go. See on the corner there. Mandarin 2-0, no problem with Atlantic Coast, 54-16 in another rivalry game. Mandarin gets the win. Paxton over Christchurch, 23-7. Fletcher goes to 2-0 as they beat Terry Parker 45-8. And poor Sandalwood. Speaking, how many have they lost in a row now?
22. They're one behind Bellevue.
One behind. That's hard. Can you believe that?
This game was like 64-0 at the half.
It was 64-0 the second quarter. I saw that score. And Reigns, it was Reigns open.
You literally have to score every play to score 77 points.
Pretty sure they were. And Reigns, it was their opener. Reigns didn't play week 1 because that Miami Central game was canceled. You knew they were going to take the frustration out of Sandalwood, and they did. And it's hard to believe. You remember Sandalwood since we were in high school before that. This has been a program that may have been the best public school program in
up until 3-4 years ago, they were – putting out multiple 5-star, 4-star recruits. They were going, they were in the playoffs every year.
Right.
And, things have taken a drastic turn with the Saints.
Right. But anyway, Reigns 77-0 in that game. Episcopal over Joshua Christian 69-0. And by the way, I found out Episcopal, the reason that Bishop Kenny opened University Christian and had a bye week 1 is because Episcopal dropped them.
Well, remember I told you when the schedules came out, literally a day apart, Episcopal tweeted out they were playing. No, Episcopal and Bishop Kenny both put their schedules out on Twitter. Bishop Kenny said they were playing Episcopal, and the Episcopal's Twitter account said they were not playing Bishop Kenny.
Well, that's why Bishop Kenny didn't play week 1. I found out. Not only that, it was them It was Episcopal and Matanzas, who they opened with last year. Matanzas dropped them, so that was the other reason. Well, actually, you don't have the Bishop Kenny game on here. We're going to talk about that because that may be the best game of the week in the area last week. Not a great week for Providence. They fall to 0-2, 56-0, lose to Carrollwood Day. They get Pallaka this week, who fell to 0-2 with a 31-14 loss at home to Baldwin.
Yeah, I was joking about, that game might be 3-0 because both offenses are struggling right now. And I know Pallaka's sake, they fumbled 10 times in 2 weeks.
God, tough start. And that was at home. Baldwin goes to 2-0 with a win.
And that game was 14-10 mid-third quarter.
Pallaka? Yeah.
Yeah, Pallaka was up 14-10, yeah.
Yeah, Providence lost a lot from last year, too. But that's where you'll be this week, right? Pallaka Providence?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I haven't been out there since I went to a playoff basketball game many years ago when the Interlochen and Coach Belton retired that night, and Providence put a running clock on him in the second quarter.
Long-time basketball coach there, Coach Belton at Interlochen. They had some good years in basketball. Providence is always good in basketball. They're good in baseball. Football's been kind of up and down at times. Last year they had a good team. This year they've lost a lot as well. Eaglesview defeated Seven Rivers Christian 45-20, and Old Plank beats Duval Charter 55-32.
Hey, they're 2-0 after moving up to 11-man football.
Did you not put the Bishop Kenny game on here for a reason?
I totally forgot it.
Sure you did. No,
Well, let's talk about Bishop Kenny. You had a great game. Talk about it.
Yeah, it was. And University Christian's a good team, but it ended up 21-20. Bishop Kenny gets the win. They go up 14-0 in the first quarter. Score the first two drives, and it kind of settles into a defensive battle. UC really ran the ball well. They're a tough team, but it was 21-14 BK going into the fourth quarter. It stayed that way. University Christian took the ball with about 4 minutes to go. They drove down, kind of ran slowly down there, and with 15 seconds to go, they score to make it 21-20. Well, Coach David Penland, he sends the offense out. We thought he was going to go for two the way they were running, and they probably would have gotten it because their running back took a deep pitch and was heading toward the corner. Unfortunately, they got called for a false start. So UC got backed up to 5 yards to the 8. So now they're going to try the extra point to tie the game. Well, I found out later their kicker missed 4 extra points against Newberry last week.
Ooh.
The first 2 kicks he had in this game were kind of low. So we said, they could get to it. Sure enough, he kicks the ball about 2 feet off the ground into about 3 Bishop Kenny players who block it. And Bishop Kenny wins 21-20. So good win for the Crusaders to start. Tough loss for UC. They're good, though. We're going to hear from them throughout the year. In fact, in that classification, I think they've got a really good chance to take out Trinity this year. Trinity's struggling a bit, so we'll see.
Aren't they in the district with Bowles, too?
No, Bowles at 2A.
Oh, okay.
University Christian Trinity.
I thought you were talking about Bishop Kenny. I'm sorry.
No, Bishop Kenny's not in Bowles district either.
Oh, they're not.
Bishop Kenny's 3A. They're 3A
Okay.
now. They do play Bowles, though, next week, but that's a non-district game. So anyway, all right, that's a look at last week. Well, we got a lot of games that we covered.
Well, we don't have to go over every single game, but
That's true. We got a lot of games. My goodness, how many are we? Oh, these are next week's games.
it's all 3 regions combined.
Yeah. Well, we'll get through this real quick to get to the pick'ems. Forest and Trinity Catholic, we mentioned both teams 1-0. Vanguard will travel to Newberry 0-2. Vanguard 1-1. Denellen and Westport, both teams 0-2. Somebody will get a first win there. These are all in Marion County. Fort White and North Marion, both teams 1-1. They'll play at North Marion this week. Bellevue looks to end their losing streak. They go to Chiefland. East Side of Beholds, 2-0 East Side, 1-1 Beholds Friday night at Citizens Field in Gainesville. That's a look at some of our Gainesville games there. And then on to Jacksonville, Atlantic Coast, and Fletcher. Fletcher 2-0 hosting Atlantic Coast. Creekside 0-2. Got another tough matchup. 2-0 Spruce Creek comes in this week. That's going to be another rough week for Sandalwood. Mandarin comes in. They might want to drop some of these teams from their schedule. Goodness.
But that's another rivalry game that they just can't give up.
Yeah, that is. Those are the 2 biggest public schools in Duval County, Mandarin and Sandalwood. Mentioned Fleming Island, Oakley, both teams 2-0. Ware County, 3-0, coming down to play Bartram Trails, 0-2. The Gators. And Bartram's struggling, so they might be 0-3 after this game. Ware County comes in unbeaten. 2-0 teams, Lincoln and Nice at Nice this week. 2-0 Tecoy Creek at 1-0 Bishop Kenny. Beachside and Menendez, another St. Johns County game. Both teams are 1-1. 2-0 Middleburg travels to 0-2 Clay. Clay's struggling right now. And they'll have
big rivalry game for the Broncos.
Yeah, Middleburg going to go.
Actually, if I'm correct, that's the longest played rivalry game in Clay County, as far as most games played.
Really? Okay. Orange Park, we talked about their loss to Oakleaf. They'll head back home at 101 to take on Riverside, who's 0-2, but Riverside has played Oakleaf and Fleming Island the first 2 weeks. So they got another Clay County team on the schedule, and see if they can get their first win this week at Orange Park. Ponte Vedra at Baker County, interesting game. Both teams 1-1 there. Columbia 2-0 hosts
Hillsborough 0-2. I was wrong. They're going 2 Hillsborough.
Again, another strange game for Columbia. I'm going to go down and play Hillsborough.
Well, remember they played North Miami Beach. Columbia is like Hawthorne. They have a hard time scheduling games, so they will go schedule whoever they can.
Right. So they're 2-0 though, because you said they go to Hillsborough this week. Somebody's going to get their first win here. Ridgeview at Inglewood. Both teams are 0-2. Here's the game of the week, probably in the entire area. St. Augustine and Bowles. Both teams are 2-0. Ed White's 1-0. They host 0-2 Westside. Ed White beat Trinity Christian week 1. So they will take on Westside, who's 0-2. Things don't get easier for Trinity Christian. 0-2. They host Rains this week. 1-0 Rains. Ouch.
All I can say is they will be well prepared for the playoffs.
Yeah, well, that's true. It's kind of like that schedule Trinity Catholic played a few years ago, but they had to travel everywhere. Rebolt 0-2. They will head to Camden County, who
I'm not sure about the record. That's why they're going in.
It's going to be a tough test for Rebolt either way going up there. Charlton County at Yulee. Good matchup there. They'll go right across the border into Nassau.
Yeah, border rivalry.
Kipbold City at Baldwin is 2-0. University Christian 1-1 now travels to Jackson. Jackson 2-0 to start. Wolfson at Impact. Impact 2-0. Wolfson 0-2. Another big game. This is coming more down in the Central Florida area. Nature Coast 2-0. South Sumter hosting the 2-0 Bradford Tornadoes. That should be a good one. Santa Fe 1-0. They'll host Harvest Community. Jacksonville, NFEI, and Joshua Christian. Blackett Providence. Somebody's going to get a win there, Corey. Game we'll see on Friday. Both teams 0-2 coming in. PK Young, can they get their first win? They host Seraphat this week, who just played Santa Fe last week. And then, of course, the game you guys talked about earlier, Interlock and Crescent City. Both teams 1-1. That at Crescent City on Friday night. Brantford and Bell. This is always a good rivalry game. Brantford 1-1. Bell is 0-2 to start.
I've been to a handful of those games throughout the years, and
those two don't
definitely
like
a big small school rivalry.
Yeah, they don't like each other very much. Two undefeated teams we mentioned. This is an SSAA game. 2-0 Lake Weir at 3-0 West Nassau. So it'll be an interesting one to watch there. Paxton 2-1 hosts 0-1 Williston. Williston had a bye after their loss to Chiefland week 1, so they'll hit the road to Jacksonville this week to play Paxton. Another 2-0 matchup. This one should be good. These two are rivals too. I think Lafayette, Hamilton County, both teams 2-0. You know that one too.
In football, it's a pretty new rivalry because they didn't really play until recently.
Right. But we know Hamilton County, the history they've had through the years as well. Trenton hosts Asilla Christian, looking to go to 3-0. And finally, Union County is 1-1. They'll go to St. Augustine and take on 2-0 St. Joseph Academy. Those are the games to look forward in week 3 of FHSAA play. And SSAA enters week 4 this week. So, as you said, we are almost a quarter of the way through. Actually, a quarter of the way through.
A third of the way, yeah.
Right. So, a third of the way through the season. I'm Marty Pallman. He's Corey Davis. This is the North Florida High School Football Talk, the Gridiron Report for high school this week. Coming up, our college report at 9 o'clock. Again, we're live tonight from Beef O Brady's in Starke. And I want to thank Beef O Brady's again for their allowing us to come in and do our show here every Wednesday night from 8 to 10. In fact, we've got our look at some of the specials. We're here on Wednesday. It's Wing Wednesdays, 99-cent each traditional, BOGO-free boneless wings. Mondays are $7.99 burger Mondays. Tuesdays, $7.99 ultimate taco. 2 tacos there. Thursdays, $12.99 steakout Thursday. Ribeye steak sandwich, Philly cheesesteak plus fries. Cowboy steak salad. Friday, $11.49 fish and chips Friday. Saturdays, cheeseburger and wing Saturdays for $11.99. And the Sunday is the $1.99 kids combo. So you got something every day here at Beef O Brady's and Starke. By the way, Beef O Brady's celebrating 40 years as well. Of course, started down in Tampa Bay area and Brandon as well. So I want to thank them again. All right, time to take a look at next week, this week's games, I guess you can say.
Our pick'ems.
Our pick'ems. This is going to be an interesting week for picks. And by the way, first everybody's got to get our results from last week. He's the person who keeps up with that.
Well, Marty, going into this past week, I led 9-9. I was 9-3. You were 8-4. You had a really great week. You were 9-3 this week, which put you at 17-7. I was 6-6. So I'm 15-9. So now you are 2 games ahead of me now in the high school picks.
2.
How
did I have last week again? Sorry.
You were 9-3. I was 6-6.
Oh wow, that's a big.
So actually, usually high school and college going into this week.
Can't be college. Oh man, I missed every game in college.
I'm sorry, I'm wrong. I can't add.
Say, there's no way I'm leading in the college picks. That was a rough week there, but
I lead by 2 games in college.
Yeah, so we're pretty much even.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see if how much I can screw up this week's picks. We start with Fleming Island and Oakleaf. Both teams 2-0. Who's going first this week?
I'll let you go first.
Okay. Well, again, this is going to be a heck of a game. Fleming Island and Oakleaf. We mentioned both teams 2-0 coming in. There's not a lot of difference between these two. Oakleaf has had 2 good wins the first 2 weeks against Riverside and Orange Park. Fleming Island beat Riverside last week. I mean, the only difference I'm going to see here is Oakleaf. They've really been solid. Last year they made the region final. They're at home. I'll take Oakleaf slightly to win this game.
I'm going to agree with you. I think Oakleaf has been more tested so far with their schedule, but this will be a close one unless there's a lot of turnovers. I like Oakleaf to win this game.
Yeah, I think, like I said, that one could go either way this week between those two. So both teams again are 2-0.
All right, St. Augustine Bowls.
Man.
Battle of 2-0 teams. And knock on wood, hopefully we get this game this week because last year we didn't get this game because of the rain.
That's right. That was supposed to be.
And they didn't try to make it up or anything.
Yeah, they didn't. That was surprising, really. But I think it was the same week, I guess, last year. But, well, Bowls 2-0. They have wins against Monarch, South Florida, and then Trinity Christian, St. Augustine, Menendez last week. Who they beat week 1? It escapes me, but they're 2-0. St. Augustine.
Oh, Plaka.
Right, sorry.
41-0.
Just forgot you were there.
And the Menendez this past week.
This is going to be probably Bowls' toughest test of the year, I think, honestly. St. Augustine obviously really good. But I think we both said that we think Bowls might be the best team in Northeast Florida. So, and they're at home. They've been rolling. So I'll take Bowls to win this game at home.
I like St. Augustine.
Yeah.
Okay. I've seen them a lot lately, but Bowls. I mean, they're a machine. They got multiple 5-star recruits. Not to say St. Augustine doesn't either, because they do. But Bowls is playing home, which is a tough situation to play there too, because you're also going up against the refs.
Right.
I like Bowls in a close one.
Okay, so we both take Bowls there. A little surprised, didn't it, on that one? 2 more 2-0 teams. Bradford at South Sumter. I got to be honest. I'm not picking against Bradford. They're rolling right now. I'm going to take them to win again.
Not so fast, my friend.
Really? Give me
South Sumter is playing at home.
Yes.
I'm told that is one of the toughest places to play, especially when it comes to the referees.
Inman Sherman Stadium in Bushnell. Yes, that's right.
I mean, Bowls has been there in the playoffs before. They typically play or used to play South Sumter in the playoffs. But I think playing them there gives them a little bit of home field advantage. Much as I do like Bradford, I like South Sumter to win this game.
The last game, Corky Rogers won in the state semifinals 2016. They beat South Sumter at home. So that was his last victory before they lost to Copeland in the championship. Yeah, they played a few times. So you're going with South Sumter. I got Bradford.
Yep.
Okay. SSA matchup here, Lake Weir and West Nassau. Both teams, Lake Weir's 2-0, West Nassau 3-0, or both are?
They're both 2-0. Yeah, 2-0, I think.
Okay. Lake Weir, West Nassau. Well,
I'll go ahead and give you my take. Coach Gibson got to see them in the spring jamboree. West Nassau is a machine. They have about 12 different tailbacks. They will run it down your throat, and then they'll continue. They will continue to run it even after you get tired.
Nothing's really changed.
Lakeware runs a funky offense. They're playing a lot better, playing with a lot more confidence. But I can't go against West Nassau.
Yeah, this game's in Callahan. I've been up there a few times through the years. Great atmosphere up there.
By the way, this is a home opener because their first home game got moved to Hilliard because their stadium was being worked on. They got at field turf in the stadium.
So this will be at their stadium. Okay. I'm gonna go West Nassau as well. The Warriors to win this one.
Okay.
And go to 3-0. We just talked about this game a little bit. Lafayette and Hamilton County, both teams 2-0. I know. Again, it's very early in the season for these two teams, but I know that it's on the road. But I kind of like Lafayette to win this game.
I'm with you there. Speed kills. Lafayette's got a ton of athletes. They were also in that jamboree with West Nassau, Interlochen, and Keystone. Lafayette and West Nassau were clearly the two best teams in that jamboree, and I think Lafayette's made the playoffs 10 years in a row. It's hard to go.
Yeah, they've been a pretty consistent program. And keep in mind, again, they're coming off a huge win against Suwannee last week, so that's a big win for that team. So we'll give both taking them to win at Hamilton County. 2-0 teams. Nice hosting Lincoln. Interesting matchup for me here. Boy, Nice is rolling though. I mean, I know how good Lincoln is. This will probably be Nice's, to this point, Nice's toughest test. But I like Nice to win at home. I think they're going to keep rolling.
All right.
And
Lincoln is coached by former Gator and former Suwannee player Matt Jackson, by the way.
Matt Jackson, right? I remember him.
But with that said, I'm going with Nice too.
We should have done it. We got to do a tribute to Lee Corso. Not so fast, my friend. As we'll do that in the college game, maybe.
All right, the big game in Ocala.
Yes, the Battle of Ocala, the Brantley Bowl, Forest Trinity Catholic on Friday night. And honestly, as good as Coach Sean Brantley is, I got to take Trinity at home. I think they're still a really good program. Forest is getting better, but to me, this is going to be tough for them to win this game at Trinity.
You think Trinity Catholic?
Yeah, I'm
taking Forest. I think
because
Forest is a bigger school. They have more.
They are a bigger school. It is football, but go ahead.
And you want to beat your former team too. There's that factor that plays into it too.
That's true. It definitely will be ready to go there.
Trust me, when Palaca was playing Palm Coast in that kickoff classic jamboree, all I heard was some player, Marty, said, "I don't care if we win a whole game the whole year. I want to beat Palm Coast." Why Palm Coast? Because the former coach is coaching at Palm Coast.
Yeah, okay, that's true. But wouldn't that make Trinity want to win this game because their coach, went to Forest? I don't know.
Maybe.
Will they be fired up? We'll go with it. We'll stick with that. We'll have a difference there. Ponte Vedra Baker County and McClenny, 1-1 against 1-1.
I've been to Baker County many times, and it's a tough environment to play for. Yeah. They got that huge jumbotron. The whole community comes out there.
It's the closest thing to a college level you'll see. There's tailgating outside the stadium. And
the thing I could never get over, besides them having
it's in the middle of the neighborhood there, McClenny. Yeah.
They back up their pickup trucks in the end zone. They sit in the
Newberry's like that too. Really pretty similar.
The thing that always got me was, there's a mental hospital out there in McClenny, and as a treat to the patients, if they're good during the week, they get to go to the home games.
Oh wow. Good to know that.
Yeah.
Well, be sure next time we go to a game.
If you go sit on the visitor side, you will see these people.
The visitor side.
The visitor side. Yeah.
They put them over there. Yeah, okay.
But with that said, it's a tough place to play. I'm going Baker County.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think Ponte Vedra coming off a good win over Bartram Trail, but I think Baker County was going to Chieftain winning that game. Their first game they played Bradford. It is tough in McClenny, and that's their first home game. We'll take Baker County as well. Another Georgia-Florida matchup. Charlton County, as you said, the border war, 2-1. They'll take on 2-0 Yulee. And I know Yulee has beat Union County and then
Clay.
So this hasn't been the toughest schedule at this point. I know I took Columbia to beat Coffee County last week, and this one I kind of like Charlton County to win against Yulee.
I can't disagree with you there. I've been to Charlton County for games too, but this game is in Yulee. Charlton County is just like Baker County. You know, the whole town shuts down when Charlton County plays.
Yeah.
All right, Marty, the game you're going
to
be at Turquoise Creek at Bishop Kenny.
Well, one of our differences last week was Bishop Kenny UC.
Well, I can tell you this. I've been riding Turquoise Creek all year. I'm going with Turquoise Creek.
Really?
They're my sleeper.
Keep picking against BK. I'm taking Bishop Kenny. Go to 2-0.
Right.
And you know what? This game, though, 2 years ago, came down to a field goal late. Bishop Kenny winning that game. Last year, BK kind of blew them out in the rain. But, yeah, I'm going to take Bishop Kenny at home to go to 2-0. I'm going to keep being a homer on these, I guess. I don't know about next week because they play Bowls next week. That's going to be tough. But
one win in 50 years?
Yeah, it was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Won the district title. All right. Got to wrap this up here in a few moments. So we go back to St. Johns County, Beachside and Menendez. Beachside, even in their record last week of the win. Menendez getting beat badly by St. Augustine. I'm going to go with Beachside to win this game on the road.
I agree with you. If you've never seen Beachside's quarterback, he's definitely worth the $10 admission. He's a Division I 4 or 5-star recruit, and he's just a difference maker. I like Beachside to roll in this game.
Okay, and finally, University Christian, as we mentioned, now 1-1, beat Newberry, lost to Bishop Kenny. They'll travel to play 2-0 Jackson, who knocked off Revault last week. And again, I got to tell you, after watching UC play, good team. They're tough, can run the ball well. I like them to win this game on the road, go to 2-1. Uh-oh. He's thinking.
Well, I might be changing my pick here because I wrote down University Christian, but the more I think about it, not so fast, my friend. I'm going with Jackson. Bobby Ramsey, the difference maker.
That's right. Bobby Ramsey. He's there now. Yeah, hey. Yeah, he's always done a good job and took Mandarin to the state title. So those are our picks for week 3. Boy, we had a lot of games we talked about here this week. We are in the midst. Remember the first week when we had barely any games to talk about? Yeah, that's changed. So
yeah, we only did. We didn't do any high school picks the first.
No, we didn't.
Because it was a selected. Right. Only the SSA played.
Plenty this week though. So good addition here. We want to thank Interlochen head coach Eric Gibson for joining us here tonight from Beef O Brady's and Starke. We want to thank Beef O Brady's as well. And you have been watching the North Florida High School Football Gridiron Report live from Starke at Beef O Brady's, watching us on YouTube as well. For Corey Davis, I'm Marty Pallman saying so long. Coming up, we'll have the College Gridiron Report 9 to 10 on YouTube and live from Beef O Brady's. Good night from Starke. All right.